Welcome to the deep dive, where we try to tackle those really big, sometimes overwhelming topics and distill them down to the stuff you actually need to know. Ever feel like you're just, yelling into the digital void? You've got a great message, maybe a fantastic product, but it just gets completely lost in that endless scroll. Yeah, you are definitely not alone there. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a really innovative approach to marketing. It confronts this exact challenge head on. Our insights today, they come straight from a pretty powerful workshop. It's called Creative Marketing and Storytelling in the Digital Age Marketing with Meaning in the Age of Distraction. Quite a title.
It really is, and it's a fascinating deep dive because the core mission of this workshop, it isn't just about like tactical marketing moves. It's fundamentally designed to shift how you approach marketing altogether.
Yeah.
It's really about teaching participants how to stand out, sure, but also how to create these strategies that forge a really deep connection with audiences. It's not just hitting sales targets. It's about inspiring communities, genuinely sparking movements, moving from just impressions to real impact.
That phrase, impact over impressions, that really hits home. Okay, so let's unpack the first big problem this workshop tackles, breaking digital noise. We all feel it, right? This just overwhelming flood of information, ads, everything. So what did the workshop highlight about, the scale of this? Why do the old ways often just fall flat now?
Well, what's really eye-opening is just the sheer speed and volume of content. I mean, did you know the average human attention span online now is supposedly shorter than a goldfish's? It's kind of wild. So this isn't just about getting noticed anymore. It's about breaking through that constant, almost reflexive scrolling habit people have. And the workshop really emphasizes that traditional sort of push-based advertising. It often fails because, well, it's just more noise added to the pile. The key insight is to stop interrupting people and start attracting them instead.
Interrupting versus attracting. Okay, that's a powerful distinction. So if we're not just shouting louder, what kind of storytelling does the workshop suggest to actually attract attention, especially in this super fragmented environment?
Yeah, good question. This is where they bring in two key techniques. First up, micro-narratives. Now, these aren't just short stories. They're designed for a specific kind of cognitive snackability.
Yeah.
Where every single word, every image, it has to carry this disproportionate weight to land an emotional punch in just seconds. Think of it like distilling your entire message down to its absolute core essence for really rapid consumption.
Snackability, I like that. Okay, so micronarratives is one. What's the second?
The second is immersive content. The goal here isn't just to show your audience something. It's about making them feel it, making them feel like they can step into the world you're creating. And this, apparently, vastly increases recall and connection, whether that's through, say, an interactive video or maybe even a virtual reality experience.
Okay, so micronarratives for that quick hit, that snackability, and then immersive content for a deeper feeling. Makes sense, given how we all consume media these days. And speaking of consumption, the workshop puts a huge emphasis on content strategies for digital platforms. How does it advise tailoring content for places like Instagram or TikTok, YouTube? Because we know they all have their own, unique rhythm and audience expectations.
Oh, absolutely. The workshop really underscores that it's not enough just to create content. You have to create native content that feels right for each specific platform. But the common thread across them, particularly with current trends, is definitely the focus on short videos.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the length. It's about crafting these deeply emotional messages and using storytelling that goes way beyond just superficial engagement, like clicks or views. It's about really connecting with your audience on a human level, making them feel something in that fleeting moment. And that feeling, that connection, that's foundational if you want to move beyond just being seen to actually being felt.
Being seen versus being felt. That feels like a really critical shift. And this leads us right into what I found maybe the most compelling part and maybe the most challenging from the workshop. Its whole philosophy of marketing with meaning. This seems like where the real transformation happens, moving past that endless chase for just clicks or likes. So what does marketing with meaning actually look like in practice?
Well, it starts with realizing that true impact, lasting impact, it comes when your story genuinely inspires people, when it helps build communities, when it might even ignite movements, big or small. It's about understanding that old saying, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So the workshop argues that if your brand can clearly articulate a higher purpose, something beyond just the transaction, you create something far more resilient, far more resonant in the long run.
Okay, articulating purpose. And to help do that, the workshop then takes a really familiar business tool, the business canvas, and gives it this fascinating twist. I bet a lot of our listeners know the business canvas. It's that classic framework, right, for visualizing a business model, value propositions, customer segments, revenue streams, all that. But how does the workshop morph this into a story canvas? That sounds intriguing.
It really is. And this is where I think the workshop's genius kind of shines through. It's not just renaming boxes, it's a fundamental reframing. It puts your audience's journey, their struggles, their hopes, their ultimate triumph right at the absolute center of your brand's whole narrative.
Okay, walk us through that. How does the mapping work?
Sure. So you start with your traditional value proposition, what unique value you offer. That becomes your core message.
Yeah.
But it's more than just features. It's articulating not just what problem you solve, but how solving it profoundly impacts your audience's life. It's really about the transformation.
Right. The impact on their life. Got it.
Yeah. Then your target audience, all those demographics and psychographics, they transform into your story hero. Suddenly, your audience isn't just a market segment you're targeting. They are the actual protagonist of the story. You focus entirely on their journey, their challenges, their potential transformation. This changes everything.
Okay, audience is the hero. That's a big shift. What's next?
Your channels, how you usually reach your audience, they become your story platforms. So where is this story going to unfold? Instagram Reels, YouTube, TikTok. Each platform becomes a unique stage, and that choice dictates the story's form, its length, its style.
Makes sense. Tailoring it.
Then your revenue streams, how you make money. These become your call to action, the CTA. After they've engaged with your story, what specific, clear action do you want your hero, your audience, to take? Is it sign up, purchase, share? You have to guide their next step.
So the money part becomes the action step.
Interesting. Yeah. And your key activities, the main things your business does, they become your story elements. These are the building blocks of the narrative itself. The characters you introduce, the central conflict, the rising action, the resolution, how the story actually plays out.
Okay.
And finally, your key resources, the tools, people, tech you need, they transform into your content creation tools. And the workshop specifically mentioned accessible platforms like InVideo.io, tools that let you actually bring these stories to life visually without needing, a Hollywood-level budget.
Wow, that mapping definitely offers a completely fresh perspective. It reframes everything around the story. But thinking about someone used to that traditional business canvas, what do you think is the biggest, mental hurdle in adopting this story canvas's mindset? Is it really letting the audience be the hero, not the brand or product?
I think that's exactly it. The biggest hurdle is shifting from being product-centric or even brand-centric to being truly human-centric, audience-centric. It requires deep empathy. You have to really understand your audience's struggles, their aspirations, and crucially, position your brand not as the hero swooping in to save the day, but as the wise guide, the mentor who empowers the hero, your audience, to achieve their own transformation. It's a subtle shift in narrative power, but it's profound.
The guide, not the hero. That makes perfect sense. Okay, so once you've embraced that mindset, you've mapped out your story canvas. What are the practical steps? How does the workshop say you actually write an effective marketing story using this?
Right, so building directly on that canvas, the workshop breaks it down into 5 pretty clear steps. First, you identify the hero. Really define who your audience is. What are their deepest challenges, their unspoken desires, their ultimate goals in this context?
Okay, know your hero, step 1.
Second, define the problem. What specific, relatable issue are they facing that your product or service genuinely helps solve? Make it concrete.
Step 2, the problem. Got it.
Third, present the guide. This is where your brand comes in. Position yourself as the experienced, empathetic ally who understands their problem and, crucially, knows the way forward.
Right. Introduce the guide, that's us.
Fourth, show the transformation. Don't just tell, show. Illustrate vividly how your product or service changes the hero's life for the better. Paint a picture of that after state. What does success look like for them?
Show the after. Okay.
And finally, fifth, and with a call to action, a clear, compelling instruction. What's the next crucial step you want the audience to take on their journey now that they're inspired?
Identify the hero, define the problem, present the guide, show the transformation, end with a call to action.
Okay, to make this really concrete for everyone listening, could you maybe walk us through a quick example using this framework? Maybe something like a fitness app? Yeah, absolutely. A fitness app is a great example. So the hero. Let's say it's a busy professional. They're constantly juggling work, maybe family, feeling like they just don't have enough time for themselves and they're struggling to stay fit. That's relatable for many.
Totally.
Their problem isn't just, I need to exercise more. It's deeper. It's feeling tired all the time, unmotivated, maybe feeling guilty because their routine keeps getting derailed by life.
Yeah, that feeling of inconsistency.
Exactly.
Mm.
Now, your app becomes the guide. It doesn't just say work out.
Mm-hmm.
It offers quick, personalized, say, 20-minute workouts that fit perfectly into their hectic schedule. Maybe no gym equipment needed. It understands their constraints.
Okay, the app as the understanding guide.
Then the transformation. You show the hero feeling healthier, having more energy throughout the day, maybe noticing newfound confidence. Crucially, they finally have a consistent routine that fits their life, not the other way around. They feel in control.
Ah, the positive outcome.
And finally, the call to action is clear, simple, and empowering. Download the app today and reclaim your energy. Your fitness journey starts now. Something like that. See how it creates a complete, compelling narrative arc? It resonates directly with that hero's specific struggle and offers a clear path forward.
Yeah, I can really see how that structure makes the brand feel much more relatable, much more like an ally. And the workshop doesn't just stop at the strategy, the what and why. It gets really hands-on, teaching people how to actually produce these stories, mentioning in video.io specifically. How accessible is that process, like for someone who maybe isn't a video editing whiz?
Yeah, that's a key point. It's designed to be surprisingly accessible exactly for that sort of average learner or small business owner audience. The workshop apparently details how InVideo.io really simplifies the whole video creation process. You basically sign up, you choose from this huge library of templates that already kind of match your story's theme or vibe. Then you just add your content, your text, images, video clips, guided by the story you just mapped out. The hero's journey, the transformation.
Okay, so templates help a lot.
They do. And from there, you can customize it, add music, transitions, effects to really bring that narrative to life visually. Then you preview it, make tweaks, and export it. It really aims to demystify video production, putting pretty powerful storytelling tools into pretty much anyone's hands, which is quite empowering.
Okay, so if I'm hearing this right, the big takeaway from this workshop isn't just make more content. It's about strategically blending that creativity with a real sense of purpose. Making sure your marketing stories don't just exist out there, but they truly resonate, connect deeply, and ultimately drive meaningful action. It really is about building a story, not just trying to sell a product.
Precisely. That's the core of it.
Mm.
It's a much more holistic approach that moves way beyond those superficial metrics we used to chase. It recognizes that in this world just awash with information, what truly captures attention and, maybe more importantly, loyalty is a compelling narrative. One where your audience sees themselves reflected and empowered as the hero.
So what does all of this mean for you listening right now? Well, mastering this blend, the creative storytelling plus the strategic execution using frameworks like that story canvas and accessible tools like InVideo.io, it really empowers you to create genuinely impactful content in what can often feel like an incredibly noisy digital world. It's about transforming your message from just information into a memorable journey for your audience, a journey hopefully that they actually want to be part of.
Yeah, and maybe this raises an important question for you to consider as we wrap up. In this age of just infinite distractions, where literally every brand is vying for a sliver of attention, how might intentionally crafting a truly compelling narrative, one where your audience is the hero and your brand is the trusted guide, how might that fundamentally shift the way you connect and inspire? What stories are you waiting to tell that could potentially spark a real connection, maybe even a movement?